Hey Raiders, Jacko here with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we're going to go back into the tried and true to stayed method of doing a champion overview. Or review and everything along those lines, like a champion guide. And because I got her at practically the very beginning of my account, and she's been a staple in every one of my teams since then and is an absolute game changer, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our beautiful Dark Elf Coldheart. Now, Coldheart is a legendary champion in a rare skin. She is absolutely amazing. Now let's go ahead and go through her kit and find out why. So on our A1 here, we've got Flurry of Arrows. Attacks 4 enemies at random. Each hit has a 25% chance of placing a 100% heal reduction debuff for 2 turns. That bumps up to a 35% chance when booked. 4 times, you're almost always going to land it when you're going up against a single target. As we were talking in our last video, the Spirit Potion Keep, she's wonderful for. She's got a great ability to land that heal reduction and make that potion keep vastly easier. So if you've got her, use her. Honestly, if you've got her, if you've got multiples of her, use them. Next up, we've got her A2, Art of Pain. Attacks all enemies, has a 30% chance of placing a 50% decrease accuracy debuff for 1 turn, places a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns if the target is under a heal reduction debuff. Sadly, the AI will actually fire Art of Pain before it fires Flurry of Arrows, so frequently you don't get that 5% poison because they're not under a heal debuff until after that. However, later on in the combat, they are under the heal debuff, they do get the poison. Useful skill, not the best out there, but it is an AoE and it does hit rather hard, so very worthwhile. And then her money shot. The reason she is incredible is Heartseeker. Attacks 1 enemy, decreases the turn meter by 100%, and has an extra 30% chance of inflicting a critical hit. Damage increases according to enemy max HP. This skill hits like all of the Mack trucks on a train. It's massive. It's like getting hit by the International Space Station falling out of orbit. It just decimates the enemies. You'll see many top tier players, many whales use multiple Coldhearts in dragons, in spiders, and in other contents because of this ability. One of the really nice things is they made her even more viable for Fire Knights recently. They updated her AI so that she does not fire Heartseeker into the Fire Knight's shield. She used to do that and it was annoying as hell. She doesn't anymore, so she'll do Flurry of Arrows into the shield until the shield's down, and then she'll hit him with Heartseeker. It's beautiful. This skill hits powerfully. It's massive, just utterly massive. Now, interesting thing to note here, 30% chance of inflicting a critical hit. So when you're building your Coldhearts, you don't need 100% crit. Most of her damage is actually coming from that Heartseeker. So building her to 70% crit, I'm at, 76? 70% crit means that the Heartseeker is going to crit every time. And then you can start building into her more important stats. And her most important stat, even though she's an attack-based champion, is actually crit damage here. Crit damage is going to pump up how much that Heartseeker hits exponentially. At the beginning of the game, when you first got her, you're going to see that it's, like double or maybe triple how much your farming champion is doing. When you get that crit damage up, you're going to see that it just skyrockets. She's going to be doing 1/3 to half of the health of the boss. It's utterly amazing. And we'll do a run through here and take a look. Equipment-wise, pretty simple, pretty easy. You want to keep her alive, so I would go Defensor, HP in the chest. You want to keep her fast, so speed in the boots. And you want to get her to do as much damage. If you can get away with doing crit damage in the gauntlets, perfect. If not, use crit percent. Down here, I've got HP in the Dark Elves. I would rather have this be accuracy, so that 100% turn meter works better. But I don't have any accuracy banners, I don't think, yet. Yep, I don't have any accuracy banners for Dark Elves yet. So I'll switch that out. But making her more survivable is really nice. Again, crit damage in the amulet. Always crit damage in the amulet if you've got a crit damage amulet. Just do it. And then survivability in the ring. So for overall stats here, what I'm running is about 30 HP. It's a little low. Attack is pretty much just what came with it with all the other ones. I've got a 70% crit rate, so that Heartseeker crits every time. 185% crit damage, so I hit as hard as possible. And accuracy as high up as I can get. It does need to be higher. Speed as well, as high as I can get, and I would love it to be higher too. Those are the points I'm working on. Speed, accuracy, and then just stacking as much crit damage as possible. If you go to Hell Hades' website, he's actually got a program where you can get essentially a ratio of how much attack versus crit damage you want on some of these champions. It's absolutely wonderful. Go utilize it if you can. In terms of masteries, pretty typical mastery. For these max HP champions, I actually recommend going into Flawless Execution and getting that additional crit damage over going into War Master or Giant Slayer. It's going to be more damage overall as you go through. But otherwise, pretty typical left-hand side of the offense tree, and then I go down the right-hand side to get extending debuffs and things like that. It's not overly necessary. You could go just about anything, either the support tree or the defense tree for your second one on a Coldheart without much worry. In terms of skills, in terms of books, this is a champion you are absolutely 100% going to want to book out. You're going to get a cooldown reduction on Heartseeker, which is the reason to have her running in your group, and you're going to do it with extra damage. So you really want to book her out, which is honestly really easy to do because she is a rare champion. Now, rare books are harder to come by, but at least they're easier to come by than epic books and such. So as you can see, I run her in pretty much every group I have. I just got lucky enough to actually get a second one of her, wherever she is down here, that I am slowly building up. And she's going to sub in on like my Spiders team, in all honesty, when I get a second one built up. If you have her, I would recommend she be one, not the first, but one of the first ones you get up to 6 stars, 60. So let's go ahead and take a look at what she's doing here. Now, she's just going to be a little bit of an AoE nuker, there you see, in the waves. She's going to help. She's not going to be a seeker or not a seeker, the shaman. I just completely spaced her name. She's not going to be a massive AoE nuker. She's not going to be the champion you take to get through the waves. However, she is going to help. She's going to make it a little bit quicker, which is really nice. The real downside to her is that she's soft and she's going to get targeted frequently. So keep that in mind when you set up a team around her. But here we are at Dragon, and we're doing a little bit of damage, just click, click, click into her. And there's Heartseeker. Look at that. That was 25% of the dragon's health in one shot. And I don't even have her in endgame gear. It's all tricked out. She's in good gear for my account. Really good gear for my account. But she's not, in whale gear. In whale gear, she would have done like 50%. Massive amounts of damage. And it doesn't matter what stage you are in Dragon, because it's based on the enemy's max HP. So as the dragon's HP goes up, her damage is going to go up, and it's going to hammer. So look at this. So Gaelic killed the waves and did 282. Coldheart killed the dragon at 240 damage, 1,000 damage. And Brago helped out everywhere. But anyways, she is a massive asset. So to finish things off, let's go ahead and take a look at our Coldheart from an aesthetic viewpoint. Now, she's an archer. As we've talked with other archers, she's going to be less reliant on armor here, which makes these legs very interesting. They're very obviously scale legs, leg pieces covering the front of the legs. They look metal to me. The fact that they're scaled means that she's going to be able to move. She's going to have a lot of protection on the front of her legs. However, she loses all that protection on the back of the leg, so she's still going to be able to be hamstrung in nothing flat. So honestly, I think that's decorational. She's got essentially a swimsuit with a little bit of protection for what? Her gut? Lower intestines? I have no idea what that's up about. And she's showing off a bit of a plumber crack there. That's very strange. It's not something you would expect to see on a beautiful woman. But she apparently, given the boob situation, the fact that she's probably falling out of that all the time, she's probably going more for a I'm falling out of my clothes aesthetic than anything else. She has large pauldrons, which are honestly going to get in the way of her archery. They're not going to allow her shoulders and arms to move as well. The van braces are good. I'm hoping that this little bolero vest is actually... No, it's not leather. That the little under armpit pieces are metal, which means if someone hits her in those upper ribs, she's going to have some protection, but frankly, I would rather protect my lower ribs. The upper ribs hurt. The lower ribs are debilitatingly painful. It hurts like no other. Well, not no other, but it's one of the high pain points. That in the armpits, the point of the shoulder. No helmet to speak of. So frankly, in her armor, Coldheart is sadly, it's all show. There's nothing about this armor that's going to keep her safe unless she's really lucky to take a blow where she happened to put an aesthetic piece of armor. I'm honestly not sure what she was thinking when she got dressed. Maybe she just rolled out of bed. Who knows? Anyways, armor-wise, I'm going to have to give our Coldheart here a 1 gourd. At least she tried, which is better than War Maiden. Weapons-wise, she got a very typical longbow. There's a little bit of a recurve here, so you could call it a recurve bow, which would be much better for her. Faster firing rate, things along those lines on recurve bows. They're really good bows. Honestly, it's pretty plain, but very effective. Got some carving in the wood, so that's nice. She's got a small quiver here to pull from the hip, which I've seen. Not a problem there. Though she's drawing with her right hand and the quiver pulls from the left. So she's going to have difficulty reaching across her body to grab a new arrow. It would be better if the quiver was flipped to the other side so that she could grab with back around behind her with the hand she's drawing the arrows with. So weapon, all in all, it's viable, it's useful, it's not the most amazing thing out there. So we're going to go ahead and give Coldheart on her weapon a 3 gourd. Overall badassitude, frankly, I probably wouldn't even notice her on the battlefield until people started to drop around me. She looks like she's more likely to be on the sidelines watching the fight than actually participating in the battle. And that's really because of the aesthetic overview here. The fact that she's going for sex instead of substance. So, badassitude, I'm going to have to rate her really low. She's not going to catch my attention until she starts dropping people, at which point I'm going to keep her allies between me and her until I get a chance to zip around and kill her. And it's only going to take 1 shot to kill her. So badassitude is going to be really low. We're going to go ahead and give her a 2 gourd for badassitude. So overall, even though she is the best mechanically sound character rare in the game, apart from Apothecary and Reliquary Tender, overall, we're going to have to give Coldheart here a 2 gourd. Along with War Maiden and a lot of the other female champions Polarium has put in the game, she's all sex, no substance. Which is very sad because, as I said, she's an amazing champion. So, have any thoughts about Coldheart you'd like to share? Please put them in the comments below. Have any champions you'd like me to do an aesthetic overview? Please put them in the comments below. Otherwise, remember to like, subscribe, and toll that bell. It really does help me a lot. And thank you for joining me on another Jacko's Raider Rants. Have a great day.